Welcome to the Sharkpreneur podcast with Kevin Harrington and Seth Greene. Kevin Harrington is the inventor of the infomercial, one of the original sharks from the hit TV show Shark Tank, and has generated over $5 billion in TV and digital direct response sales. Seth Greene is the world's first trusted authority on cutting-edge direct response marketing, a best-selling author, and the only 3-time Marketer of the Year nominee. On the podcast, Kevin and Seth interview sharkpreneurs who share straight talk on what it takes to explode your business.
49 faces looked to him in triumph. Over the last 12 months, they had each taken turns and promoted his business for a week at a time, driving over $987,342 in revenue. What if you had a network of 50 centers of influence who promoted your business every week for a year? Grab your copy of the #1 Amazon best-selling book, The Ultimate Guide to Growing Your Business with a Podcast, at 33% off the Amazon price by going to ultimatepodcastbook.com. Again, that website for 33% off the Amazon price is ultimatepodcastbook.com. Welcome to the podcast. This is your host, Seth Greene. Today, I've got the good fortune to be joined by Lloyd Ross, and we're going to talk about Time Rich on his hat in just a minute. Lloyd, thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, Seth, thanks for having me on. Super excited to be here, and let's go.
All right, super excited to have you here. Let's go back in time. How did it all get started?
Back in 1983, it was a warm summer evening and my mum gave birth. How did I get into this? How did I get to where I am now today, being time rich? I'm actually a lawyer, incidentally. Became a lawyer at 23, had a personality clash, went over to the Middle East to get into real estate development, had a personality clash with 9 to 5, and ended up getting into business with my dad in real estate for about 7 years. And then built this little network marketing business on the side that scaled. And it allowed my wife and I to win back our time and effectively get out of the rat race. We still have that business. It's 11 years old now. But what's interesting about that is we took some money and we put it into shares and scaled it through a portfolio which allowed us to develop some passive income. And we had effectively built this financial independence life in our 30s, which is very unusual. And I wrote a few books on that, and launched a podcast and built this financial education business that has now gone pretty good. We started first year of COVID, and we've written 2 books, and we just got a publishing deal with Wiley for our latest book, Become Time Rich. And so now we have that and got an events business, and we just bought a laundromat business, and we're going to look for more of those, and we're just expanding the little empire that we started to build in 2014. So that's what's led me to this episode.
That is awesome. Congratulations. I'm sure the longer version could probably fill as you mentioned, probably is in several books already.
It is, yes.
Awesome. So let's talk a little bit about the financial education business. Tell us about what that is, how that works, who it serves. Give us all the details.
Yeah, wonderful. During the process of, certainly when I was in the property industry selling property, I would always get snapshots of people's financial condition and status. So I was learning where people were really at with their money. And then when we got into network marketing, a lot of the people in that industry just to my surprise, had no idea about money. And my whole background was I did my CFA chartered to level 3. I had a corporate finance degree. I knew money fairly well, but also I'd read some books and I'd built this personal finance fortress. So I thought it was normal. I was like, what do you mean you don't know how to add 1 + 1? And what do you mean you don't understand how money, what? And that's the nature of knowledge. Just not everyone knows what you know. A friend of mine saw me teaching some people. I was doing a boxing program to do my first boxing exhibition fight. And he saw me teaching some of the guys in the gym about money. And he said, you know what, you should write a book. And I was like, oh, that sounds very difficult. I don't know if I should do that. And he said, no, you'll do it. You'll do it in a month. And so he challenged me. And so we launched our first book, Money Grows on Trees, and it was a great success. And on the back of that, we launched our next book, Money Buys Happiness, and our podcast, Money Grows on Trees. And now we've got a top-rated podcast in Australia on financial education. Our book now, we've sold 30,000 copies of our Money Buys Happiness book all around the world, United States and Europe and so forth. And we have a wonderful education program that helps people come in and learn about all the things on money they wish they'd learned in school. And by all accounts, it seems to be very popular.
It sounds like it.
Yes. And that's how we are. Yeah.
30,000 copies of a book and all the people inside the coaching and the membership programs. That is awesome. Sign me up for copies of the book. I will buy them for my kids.
Oh, mate, I'll send you a copy.
Thank you. You don't have to do that. So and I see the ClickFunnels goal award in the background.
Yes.
So let's talk about what are people consuming inside of the program? Is it group coaching?
Sure.
Is it a course online? Tell me a little bit about what you get.
Yeah, so what happens when they buy my book is they'll get the digital and audio copy for $9, and a lot of them just want to do that, which is great because it helps them straight away. And if they listen to me a little bit longer and they want to work with me a bit more, they can actually get a couple of courses. I do a little course on micro investing, which is a great beginner way to get your money working for you without having to be an expert. And then I've got a little course called Investing Mastery, which teaches people some really sensible strategies around indexing and putting their money to work without too much risk, and teaches them all the things about investing that they should know but have never been taught. And then, of course, if they come into the coaching, we do a 6-month program. It's called 5 Steps to Millions, and we cover mindset, mentorship, managing money, multiplying money, and making extra money. So we cover all the M's in the 5 steps, and that we spend about a month and a bit on each step. And there's a workbook, and we go through the exercises, and I do a live lesson through the workbook and the content. Then I do a live Q&A each week on the Zoom, and then people get access to me, depending on what they get, to give them personal coaching as well throughout that journey. And then beyond that, if they've nailed all that and they're a wonderful student and they've done everything, and if they have a business, then they come into our elite program where I teach them, let's nail your business down so you can scale your making money so we can put more money into your assets. And that's what happens.
That is awesome. Who is an ideal client for you?
An ideal client, incidentally, turns out to be divorced women.
Really?
I don't know why. Yes, because what has happened is generally they have had a settlement from separation or divorce, and they don't know what to do with the money. They've had no education, and they also don't have that male role model. Because generally, we've got logical engineer brains. They tend to want to lean on that more so for money, and a lot of them, their partners or their previous spouses, were looking after the finances. So they find themselves in this situation where they go, oh my God, I've got money. I didn't educate myself. I didn't look after the money. Now I'm in trouble. And they tend to be the main client. Yeah, the main students. We do have guys too, but generally it's women in their 45 plus.
That is fascinating. And I love that and that your analytics. How are you attracting them?
It's really interesting. We have our book, when people write a book, and I'm experiencing this right now with our published works, when you have a published book, getting eyeballs on books, getting eyeballs on anything is really tough. And I don't know how many people have written a book that goes to die. There's thousands, most people. And so what we did at the start is how do we not do that? And the answer to it is you've got to run Facebook ads. You've got to run ads now these days. You cannot run a business, I don't think, any business for that matter, without some sort of paid traffic. And so what we've done is we've set up our sales funnel through the ClickFunnels program and with my partner, and they come through from a meta ad. They grab our book and we capture the data. Because if you put your book through Amazon, you don't get the data, which means you can't remarket to it. You can't do anything with it. Amazon owns it. So the trick to book marketing is not to publish on Amazon.
So it's interesting that you say that. We'll have to have a separate conversation. There is an actual way to extract out book purchase data from Amazon.
That's good to know. Maybe we should talk more.
We'll have a separate conversation about that. But you are right. It is easier to get them to go buy it through you so that you have total control of that process. Now, let's talk about the aggregate. You've helped so many people. Do you have, and you don't have to share them on the show, but I'm assuming you have data on this is how many people, you said 30,000 copies of the book. There's probably a number of how many tens of thousands of students you've helped. I would imagine that adds up.
The numbers presently are we did probably 1,500 books last month. And I would say we had 350 appointments. We had probably 50 students join last month, I would think. And so that's the kind of numbers presently. And because we're in a business, it's not going to be consistent every month, but we go through seasonal, right now, there's a good seasonal patch where people are coming in after Easter and it's exciting for them to start changing their life. But yeah, we would generally now, and again, we scaled from zero. So when we first started, we had no program. We were just trying to sell a book, and that was not an effective strategy because we couldn't scale the ads. And so from ground up, we've built this thing with what it's like. We've bootstrapped it. And now, I think in place now, yeah, the numbers would dictate, I would say 500 new students a year would come in. Like we're on track for about that, maybe more, 600.
So that's incredible. 90-something% of authors probably don't sell 1,500 books in their lifetime, let alone 1,500 a month. That's congratulations on that.
Well, there
And
you go.
the ripple effect of the people you're helping, the lives you're changing is amazing.
It is.
You've
Yeah, I love
achieved
it.
so much success. What's your biggest challenge now?
It's really interesting, the challenge, because because I got this publishing deal with Wiley, and the reason I'm wearing the hat is because that's the book that's coming out, which I'm like, this is a brand thing for us as well. And I wrote this because a lot of people in the money space, what I've learned was they just couldn't manage their time. I was like, what? It wasn't even the money. So I'm like, this is very timely. And of course, Dan Martell wrote his book, Buy Back Your Time, and it's done fairly well.
Yep.
So I think it's a timely book.
Dan.
Yeah. And the challenge I'm facing is we're doing this massive launch on the 30th of May, New York time, in the evening, and we have 24,000 registered for it. So we're modeling the Hormozi launch approach.
Yep.
I'm watching his launch, and I'm literally meticulously going through every slide. I'm building a 1,200 slide deck to launch this thing. We've run ads to it. It's like we're trying to sell thousands of books in one go of this because it's not in our sales funnel. But what we are going to do is we're going to slip this into the current sales funnel too, as the published works after. But my greatest challenge is selling like a published book is not the same. It's just so different. So yes, that's my challenge.
I love that you're modeling Alex's, hey, I'm going to make a ridiculous offer. And it's the buy the book or get the book and I'll give you $7,000.
Yes.
And by the end, people are like, just let me buy the damn thing already.
Yeah, that's true too. I think the value stack in his pitch was huge. Like
that may have been the biggest value stack like ever. Yes.
Ever.
Yes. I have a box of those books that I bought and gave away.
I think we've all got a few hard copies in our office. Yeah.
Yes. I got the hat, all the other stuff.
Oh dear. That's funny. Yeah.
That is awesome. Your passion is obvious. What do you like best about what you're doing?
I do love to teach. We all have these spiritual gifts that I don't know whether we know we're born with them, but I've crafted this life that kind of maximizes the amount of joy that I get from what I do. So I think I love teaching. I love to see the breakthroughs. And who doesn't love getting the validation from all the messages you get from students and readers and podcast listeners to say, hey, I did this and it just completely changed everything. And improving people's life. My business partner summed it up really well. He said, you know what we're doing here? I said, what are we doing? He said, we're really raising the level of consciousness.
Wow.
And I was like, what a profound thing to say. But it's true because as the students come through, not only are they getting their money under control and the impacts that has on their family and their future, but we're teaching them new skills. They're using AI now. We're really lifting them to a new standard. And that's moving the human species in a very small slither. It's moving them forward to experience life at a different level. And that's an exciting thing to be part of, I think.
Absolutely. That is awesome. We would love to support the launch at the end of May. Let us know how we can do that. And congratulations on everything you've been able to accomplish so far. Raising the level of consciousness is a beautiful thing. For our folks watching or listening, where is the best place to tune into the podcast? Where should they go to get the book? And where can they go to participate in the May giant event?
Yeah, so if anyone goes to my Instagram account, it's Lloyd James Ross. It's just my full name, no hyphens or spaces. And if you go there, you're going to find everything. If you go there, you can't find anything, we're very poor marketers, but you will. If you go there, you'll find. And if you want to join the launch, it's free, obviously. If you just go to that's important to have the www.becometimerichbook.com.
Becometimerichbook.com and Lloyd James Ross at Instagram. Lloyd, thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, Seth, thanks very much. I've really enjoyed it.
Thanks, everybody, for watching or listening. We'll talk to you or see you next time.
Why do so many businesses struggle while others seem to explode overnight? Do you wish you had the secret to this type of exponential growth? Now, I've scaled more than 20 businesses to over $100 million, and it's not just luck. In my new book with Mark Tim, Mentor to Millions, you'll learn the repeatable framework I use in all my business ventures for massive success. Order at kevinmentor.com and get over $1,000 in bonuses. Head to kevinmentor.com.